Awesome. So you really like being a journalist? And see, and I want to tell you about that because my mom, she was actually watching your interview that you had with me station. I said yes. I said I'm actually interviewing him this week. She says that's really cool. I said yeah. I said hopefully maybe after this interview can help get him more in the mainstream, here in the United States because he does report, the news and does a really good job on it. So I know today we're going to be having a discussion about your interview that you recently did with Julia Faustina. Can you please go into a few details about that? Did you end up reaching out to her to do the interview, or did she reach out to you? Mhm. Okay. That is awesome because I think that it's a great thing that she's able to get her voice heard. I don't feel that she should have her voice silenced at all. And if anybody feels like she should personally have her voice silenced, then they are the ones that need to be held responsible for their actions because she feels that she is Madeline McCann. I know that everybody has their own personal beliefs. I personally do not believe that she is Madeline McCann. I believe that she is Julia Faustina. But because of the fact that she personally feels that she is Madeline McCann, I do believe that she deserves to have, the opportunity to have her voice heard. And I do appreciate the fact that you did take the time to interview her. Now, were you the first person that was able to actually do the initial interview with her? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of that, go ahead and finish because I got another question I want to ask you. Now, whenever you did interview her, did you guys have any type of discussions in regards to her having Thea Johansson as her spokesperson or in the process of hiring her? Is there any way you're able to turn up your volume? They're saying they can't hear you that well. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just need to chat. I totally agree. I totally agree. Is it Crafty Queen? I do find it very strange that Kate and Jerry have not made any comments. I also have speculations on when I feel that Met was it? Is it you were saying UK Met Police is what they're called? Um, yeah, it has never been mentioned, but I personally feel that after is the sound better? Okay, yeah, because I said they can't hear you very well. But you can go on my YouTube. You should be able to hear it there. Anyways, I feel that after the DNA test results come back from I think it's like April 13th that we heard yesterday in her interview that she had that they should approximately be back around April 13th. And if not, then 5 days after that. I personally feel that if the DNA test comes back and that she is from that part of the country, then they will go ahead and contact them to get it set up for them to get the DNA. But I do personally feel that the authorities over there should get involved because of the fact that of the media sensation that's currently going on. And I think that they need to start taking control a little bit more. And I know that the McCanns have not came out and made a public statement. And I know that Julia went on Radar online and, made a public statement telling them that they feel, that she feels that she is personally Madeline McCann. And I know she said that she had to wait for the DNA test results to come back, And I know everybody's been waiting for the DNA test results for the last 2 months. And it feels like they were done just recently, but yes, I can hear you fine. Hmm. I guess. I noticed that as well. I noticed that like there was no structure to anything, and I'll be openly honest about that because the fact is, I think that as you're handling a situation such as this and being someone's spokesperson, I personally feel like there should be more structure. I think maybe you should like sit down and schedule your lives and then make notes, fully what you want to discuss. I mean, that's just me personally. I wouldn't want. True, true. I mean, that's how I would do it, but I mean, that's just me though. But I was just a tad bit confused because I would watch the lives and I would wait for an update. And then it's like we're circling back 188 degrees, you know, discussing this. I couldn't either. Right. Mhm. Right. I agree. Now, yeah. Now I see. I don't want to interrupt you, but I apologize. I noticed just the other day you did a TikTok video saying how that they have. I think it was like 300. was it 300 pounds you were saying that they had put in the funds for the Madeline McCann to investigate? It was 2000. Yeah, it was 2007. I personally agree. Now, after you did the interview with Julia, was there any type of mainstream media that actually picked up the story after you did your interview? Oh, I can't either. I think it's just live. I don't hear it. Maybe they hear it. Yeah, it might be. Oh, after you did your interview with Julia, did any mainstream media news in the UK pick up the story at all and did any reports on it? Right. I have never heard of that. Yes. Yes. Um, I'll be openly honest. The only news that I've actually officially, like, big news that I have watched fully do some type of report on it in the United States is News Nation. Like I watch Fox, they talk about it, but it's like they don't make a full blown, report on it as of yet. And I think they're waiting to get that DNA because I understand because of the fact that if the DNA comes back and she's not Julia, then they don't probably want to make it bigger than what it already is. But I do personally feel that once that DNA test does come back, and if if it does indeed match with that region of where they're from in that country, then I personally feel that they need to get back on the news. And I personally feel this time it should not be Radar Online. Nothing against Radar, but I think it should be more of a official news that gets more viewers out there. Because I personally feel that she does need to find out who she is, and if it does come out that she needs to get a DNA test done and match it with the McCanns, then I definitely would reach a much larger audience than Radar News. And I would be like, hey, this is what the DNA test results show. And, I think that I might be your daughter and it needs to call out for him, because that's the only way that I personally feel that it'll officially reach, the mainstream in UK, because otherwise. Mhm. Right. 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 Yes. And I personally agree with that. See, I agree. And based off of the Dr. Phil episode and the parents giving the statement, they 100% believe that Julia is their daughter and are disputing the fact of her claims that she is Madeline McCann. And whenever she went on to the Dr. Phil episode, how did you feel how Dr. Phil interviewed her compared to you interviewing her? And I totally agree with you, Megan. Yes. And that's one thing I was going to discuss with you. And before I discuss that with you, the fan page that the mother, or the group page that the mother went and gave her statement to, that was actually her mother, and it wasn't a fake news release or statement from her. Yeah, yes, it's definitely 100% real. Exactly. And I totally agree with that. Now, right. And I totally agree, because every day it's like we're getting pieces of evidence. And I do appreciate the fact that on the interview that she did yesterday, that those alleged court documents she was able to show, live. But like we discussed, everything, can be forged or not. And I agree. Exactly. And I totally agree, because based off of the interview that I did with Joe Ward recently, he stated that he had everything already set up, and that he had the DNA already set up with the company, the DNA test done. Obviously, Maddie's DNA is, there, and everything he said was already set up. And he said that he, based on his conversation that he had with her, that he wasn't even aware that she was going to be taken to the United States. And I totally agree with that. It could be possible because of the fact that she is her spokesperson and she lives here in the United States. Exactly. I agree. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Because yeah, right. It feels like I'm watching a soap opera. One day no, I have to say that's better because I can focus on that. Yes. And they're doing that as well in Poland because I have some connections in Poland, and they send me some articles, and they're making a mockery out of this. They're mocking the whole situation, and they're not even talking about it. Right. I seriously think that if she's Madeline McCann, this situation should have been handled a little bit more seriously. Well, I was really concerned because then she was telling everybody that basically, if you are a abuse survivor, or I want to be careful on how I say my words because I'm live, but basically, if you are an abuse survivor, to contact her, and basically she'll be your manager, is the way that I took it as. I mean, that's just my opinion, anyways. Blah 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 blah. Sorry. And I agree. Like, I think that maybe she was trying to do something nice for her, but I didn't think that was that. Yes, yes. And yes, and speaking about that, right. And speaking about, hold on a second. Speaking about the music career, I did email the record company and they did email me back, but I'm not going to discuss about that email right now because I'm going to discuss that at a later date. And I think that it's very interesting, and I do think everybody needs to hear what is on that email that I received because it is completely shocking. And that's why whenever I heard your live this morning and what you said, and based off of the email that I got, and based off the post that I seen, I put three and three together and I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Right. Yes. Right. Right. America's Got Talent. To go on America's Got Talent. World Wild Got Talent. Yes, and that's what I do. Right. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I am totally confused as that as well. Like, it threatens them and then says she has zero accounts. And then says she's got zero accounts on top of it. We have zero social media accounts. Oh, that's Julia that doesn't have no social media accounts. Okay. I yes. I agree. I agree because of the fact that one, I have my personal own beliefs about that, which I'll be sharing, later. I'm waiting until after the DNA test results get out because I have my own personal belief about everything. And I have publicly made my personal beliefs about everything. I I've gathered all the evidence. I have spent hours and hours and hours gathering evidence. I have contacted every place possible getting the evidence. I'm not one of those types of people that just gets on here and be like, hey, you know, Joe Blow is da 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 da. I will contact them, I will email them, and I'll keep bugging them until I get an answer because I'm a journalist. That's what I do. So I'm just gonna say that's the way I feel. She wanted promotion for herself, the way I feel. My opinion. Yes, I can produce them. I will go in and I will post. I will put every piece of evidence that I have. I am going to go get a notarized document, and I am going to sign a notarization document to make it legalized, so then nobody can dispute my evidence that I have because I have contacted everybody. I've contacted the university. Now, when anybody contacts them, they won't speak to anybody, which I'm not going to discuss anything about that right now. I'll discuss about that at a later date. Right. But yes, I've done hours. I've contacted the record label. They actually were really nice and they got back with me within 24 hours, and I was completely shocked about what I received in the email. I researched online. I made sure it was the official website. I made phone calls to, to those places. Even before I went online and made my reports to where I did, which I will be discussing at a later date as well, why I made the reports that I did. And I will, talk about it at a later date why I feel the way I feel, because I have done my own research, and I have, the evidence to back up my statements, and I have no problems get a notarized document to prove everything. Right. Okay. No, okay, she did not approach him recently. She already had a deal with them, and then right, she already had a contract with them. Is what happened. She already had a contract. Okay. Yes. But I will discuss that email at a different date. Yeah, I'm going to discuss all my evidence. Everybody is going to be able to get access to all my evidence that I have. I do have a project that I'm going to be working on, which I'm not going to be discussing that now. But I feel that based off everything that I've done, I have that right to be able to do that, because as a journalist, I've done my work. I even every piece of evidence that I got, I had given them, because like I have a high position at my job. I'm a business relations manager on top of being a journalist. So I take my job as a journalist secondly. Like first, I'm a business relations manager. I take that job very seriously, and I take my journalist job very seriously. So any type of article that I write on behalf of the company that I work for, which is Schematica, and I make sure that I investigate. I'm not like those fake news medias that just said, "Oh, well, somebody got robbed at the end of the street," but I didn't go down in the end of the street to see if somebody got robbed. Oh yeah, 450 pages of evidence. Now, speaking of that, whenever she was counting those pages, in my opinion, I thought they were blank. I didn't see nothing on them. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. I agree. Right, and that's basically I want everybody to do. I want everybody, because I have showed the CEO of my company and the COO of my company. I literally work with the CEO and the the COO of my company because of the position that I have. So every piece of evidence that I've gotten, I have shown them. They have seen it. They have not told me to back down. They have not told me to back down from my investigation. They support me 100%. So if anybody has any questions about that, yes, they do support me in my investigation. And they support me as a journalist. They know that I work really hard with the job and position that I have, that I'm going to investigate before I just go out and make any type of report and say, this is true. I'm going to make sure I have the documents to prove what I'm stating is accurate. And I do have those documents. I have emails and I have documents from that are official. Yes. Right. And and they did a good job doing the interview. I do agree that they did do a good job with the interview. Okay. I agree. I agree. I agree. Now, someone just asked me if I would take that interview yesterday and do it the same way as they did. Of course, I wouldn't. The reason why, because the fact I'm the one with the evidence. And based off the evidence that I have no choice to confront her with the questions of the evidence that I have. But I know that they wanted to keep it about Julia and about Julia's care. But personally, if I had to sit down one on one with Fina, not with Fina, but Fia, I was about to call her Fiona, but well, she did go by Fiona before in the video. But anyways, based on the evidence that I have collected and its facts, I would have no choice but to talk to her and ask her and get an answer of this evidence that I have because they are official documents. These are official documents that I have. So I even put a statement out yesterday. Like I was kind of being sarcastic about it because of the fact that she was going to everybody else and asking them for interviews. So I was like, well, since you're going to everybody who's interviews, well, why don't you come and let me interview? Because honestly, no. Based on the evidence that I have, I would not be able to do the interview the same way. Now, however, Becca and Ash did a really good job asking the questions that they did ask because they don't have they don't have the documents that I have. They have some of the information that I have, but official documents they did not have. And I know that they would not want to present anything or ask any questions without any official documents because like I said, I have official documents, so I would have no choice but to ask her, to see what her statement would be and her answer would be. Exactly. Mhm. I had posted on my TikTok for evidence of like where's this, where's that, and nothing. I'm afraid that if I had a sit down, was it 60-minute interview with her that they call it would be an ugly, ugly, ugly interview because I would have to produce all the evidence and be like, what is your answer to all this? And I think that she would get up and walk out. Exactly. Exactly. Because, and there's nothing you can do about that. No, as of right now, it has not been announced if there is some sort of rules with the police of what she can and can't say. As you can see, she told the world about her abuse. She described what happened to her. And I agree, and everybody has their own beliefs, but everybody has to take everything at face value. Becca and Ash had to go with what they could work with their interview. And exactly. Exactly. And if anybody is hating on Becca and Ash over that interview, please believe Becca will tell me and I will confront you because of the fact that she knows what evidence there is, but the fact that she does not have the evidence that I have, so she cannot bring that in an interview with Thea, and that's exactly what I would tell her not to do it because of the legality issues of it. If she went and mentioned anything that I have evidence on, it would bring a huge legality issue with Becca and Ash, and then they would have to come to me and I would have to, obviously I would provide that evidence, but because of the fact that I was not there with that evidence, I do not agree that it should be brought up, because if you're going to make those type of allegations and those type of questions, you better have the evidence to back up your statement, because it obviously Thea is known for going to court with people, and not I'm not saying she's won every court case, but she is known to go to court with people, and you better have the evidence to back up your statements. And, and I agree, but I personally can never call her Dr. Fia Johansson, and I have my reasons why. I will always call her Fia Johansson. I mean, down the road that may change, but anyways, exactly. I have the evidence to prove that I can make these statements because I have I got the evidence to back my claims. I do. And she knows she okay, and she knows that I have this evidence. She also knows that I have announced to the world that I do have an attorney, so, you know, I have no problems going to court and supporting these documents in front of a judge, and then the judge can ask her if she don't want to answer to a journalist about this evidence. So that obviously she don't want to go to court. She's going to be silly. She don't want to. Exactly, exactly. Yes. Yes. Right. Right. And and based on the evidence that I have, if she comes out to be not Madeline McCann, it may cause more investigations to go on, because right now there are several investigations that I have requested to go on behind the scenes, which I will not talk about it, and I'm not talking. Yeah, and I'm not going to talk about that right now. Right, right, exactly. And I agree with that. And yeah, hmm and I totally agree with that. But you have to realize the situation as well. She, may not have been able to afford it and therefore was not able to get it done. Yeah, that is fine. And nobody is talking over him. It's just that the microphone sounds are different. He's getting to talk at the time that he talks. Nobody's talking over him. Oh no, no. Ash was saying that it was a shame that I was not letting you speak without me shouting over you. No, it's on YouTube and TikTok, but she was saying that on TikTok. I blocked her. It's like, get out of here. Bye, ho. Bye, Felicia. Elvis has left the building. I agree. Everybody has their own opinions. They should have got the DNA results before it was even taken to socials. And personally, correct if we everybody has different opinions on that, and that's my opinion as well. I do personally agree. I think before going to socials and making all these videos, because I honestly don't know from day to day what personality we're gonna get from Theo. I mean, one day she's really emotional, the next day, I get really confused with what is going on. I've been waiting for the DNA results. Yes. I think there's about three personalities that I've seen at FIA. Okay, there's a serious business type of personality that she tries to be business. She's got one. She's got a narcissistic side. I, I don't know. And what I personally feel is that she doesn't get the concept that nobody is mocking Julia. gets on there and says that all these people are talking. And then I had to call her out the other day because she said nobody talks about, basically, don't even ask about her medical blood test. And I had to call her out because I did have that discussion with somebody else just 2 days before she came on, and said that was, you know, telling that person that I pray, that she doesn't have that, because I have had a family member that has died of that illness at such a young age. That'd be good. I was really confused. Yes, and I will be really glad when we get those results back, because, I think it has been due time for them results to come out. I think some of this spectacle going on lives and not knowing which personality we're going to get and deal with on, I've been waiting for the results. Okay. Okay. Um, what time is it there? 12. Yeah. Yes, and I do appreciate you coming on here and discussing with me about your interview. Oh, and speaking about the Klan at the U.S. law enforcement took 13-point DNA tests when they arrived. That is another thing that I want to question as well. Uh, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find your socials at. So then, if they want to keep up to date with the daily news. All right. Well, everybody, you guys know where to find him at. If you guys want to stay up to date with the Madeline McCann case, I'm sure he'll, also do videos and plus the daily news, so you know where to find him at. I appreciate everybody stopping in, and you can also check out my live on YouTube. By tonight, it'll be uploaded nationwide on every single platform. You can go to Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, everywhere my podcast is uploaded to. I've had my podcast for 5 years, which I'm so happy. I'm on my fifth season now, so this November I'll be going into my sixth season, so I'm excited. This is the second person that has said that I've gotten the exclusive, so I appreciate that. I try to bring the exclusive. Maybe I can get Fia on here so I can question her. Okay. I appreciate it. I told everybody that I was going to bring the exclusive. I wasn't lying. And I do admit I do want to have an interview with Becca because I want to talk to her and ask her, what officially made her mind change and allow her to have the platform so then everybody will stop hating on her because she does not deserve the hate. Okay, you guys have to realize that was her first interview that she's ever done. She doesn't have the evidence to prove anything that everybody's wanting her to ask via, and I think she handled it really well, and I'm really proud of her, and I let her know that. Yes. Yep, no matter what. I mean, I'm a tough interviewer. I mean, I'm really tough. I've been doing this now for 2 years. I admit when I first started, with my first interview, I was soft too. But now since I've been doing it for 2 years, it's like if I got hard questions, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to be like, hey, and if you don't answer them the first time, I'm going to come back and ask you again. Right. Okay. Talk to you later. Thank you, everybody. Bye.